Okay, time for another video about my Luna Fix Stealth. Just thought I'd give you a couple updates here. So one of the things I've changed since last time is I moved my Venstar speaker down here, and the sound's a lot better, and I think it's more stable. It gives me some more room on the handlebars as well, so that's nice. I do have my Lumos helmet now. It was out of service for a while, so that's real nice. And I went ahead and I mounted the turn signal control for this right under the display, which is a really nice spot there. I thought really kind of good for ergonomics and keeping it out of the way, and again, like not taking up too much handlebar space there, so that's nice. I did get a couple long rides in since the last video, and I'm happy to report that the range is very much in line with what the specs report on the site. I did, I did a little less than 14 miles, a lot of which was on Assist 2. And I think my battery usage was, I still had 70% left when I got to the end of that. Yeah, I've had a couple instances where I've had a tailwind and just shut the assist off entirely, and the bike ride's great with no help at all. I feel like with 2 that once you're up and going, you're not really using a whole lot of battery at all. It just kind of gives you a boost when you're stopping and starting or like getting up hills and stuff. But the other thing that I've noticed as far as battery usage is really using the shifting to your advantage. Like, yeah, you can stay in third gear and go up an incline. You absolutely can. It's not hard or anything, especially with full assist. But if you do shift down, the motor's not having to work as hard. So you might not go as fast up the hill, but you're still going to have an easy time getting up the hill, and you're going to use a lot less charge. So if you're trying to like squeeze as much range out of this bike as possible, things like that are really going to help. So that's some positives. Now I'm going to get to a negative. We've had another weird experience here. It's kind of related to this whole crankset again, but I like the gauge to carbon drive. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but this time one of these crank bolts came out just spontaneously as I was boarding the ferry. And what happens is I think this is the spider. It's bolted to this big sprocket, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's these little kind of screw heads that kind of stick out from this back part here, which I guess is the motor. I mean, the motor's in there obviously, but I don't know what these screw heads are for. But when the bolt came out, the sprocket was just, this little arm of it was just bent enough so that it was running into the head, so the cranks would not turn. So here I am on the ferry with a bike that has pedals that don't turn. So that was bad. I had to walk it off, and I went to the local bike shop, and as you can see, they would fix it, but they could not find a black crank bolt. So I'm not super happy about that, but you know, I've got a little bit of chrome here and there, and so I guess I'll just live with it, or maybe I'll try to paint it. I don't know. I did contact Luna about this and the other issues I've been having, and their response was basically along the lines of, well, you know, I mean, you got such a good deal on this bike, you know, it's just like, cut out the middleman, you know, giving me all the sales spiel about it, that, you know, having to spend some extra money and time at the bike shop, you know, you're still coming out ahead. And I guess, but I didn't feel really good about that as a customer care kind of experience. I wasn't really asking for anything, but you know, I'm just trying to alert them to some of these really simple issues that I really shouldn't have had to deal with. as far as the some of these holes for the mounts not being right, things not being tightened down. You know, these not only cost me money, but they cost me a lot of time. You know, as a commuter, I'm really, you know, inconvenienced if my bike goes down because I need it every single day to get to and from work. So I just didn't really feel good about that. But you know what? Everything's up and running, and it is a fun bike to ride. I do still recommend it, but I would, you know, really strongly, you know, recommend having it completely gone over by a tech, or, you know, at very least, you know, if you've got some experience doing bike maintenance, that you really take a lot of time before you start putting this bike into regular service, of just making everything, making sure everything is the way that it should be. Because you know, who knows what other problems I'm going to run into here, but you know, it goes fast, it looks good, everyone's jealous. You know, it's a great bike overall, and I definitely recommend it to anybody who's looking for a great commuter e-bike that has some style and is rideable as a non-e-bike as well. So yeah, that'll about wrap it up. I'm happy to answer any additional questions anybody might have about the bike itself or any of my accessories that I've been doing. And yeah, enjoy the road.